Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Aladdin. Disney is back at it again with yet another live-action remake of one of their classic animated films, this time remaking the 1992 classic Aladdin, which tells the story of a street rat who falls in love with a princess, and with the help of a powerful genie, turns himself into a prince in order to impress her, while the nefarious Jafar has other plans. Now, Aladdin is one of my favorite Disney films of all time, as it is for a lot of people. As a 90s baby myself, the Disney Renaissance holds a special place in my heart, and Aladdin in particular really resonated with me as a child. Though I personally am not of Middle Eastern descent, it was just pretty cool to see a brown kid coming up from not so great upbringings, not having a lot of money, be the hero of a story like this. And it really resonated with me. Same with Jasmine as this really headstrong princess of color. The whole story and all of these people with brown skin in this animated fairy tale really spoke to me as a kid, and I think that's a big reason why it stuck out as one of my favorites, if I'm being honest. I was very happy to see them stay true to the Middle Eastern heritage and culture, although we are in a fictional land, with this remake, because I think that seeing these heroes of Middle Eastern descent on a big budget action romance fairy tale could really be empowering to so many little kids. And for that reason alone, I was hoping this would be good. Something for kids to really get excited about, and for some characters of color to really be heroes to a new generation in live action format. However, those trailers left much to be desired, and my excitement quickly turned to dread. But I was still holding out hope that it would find some magic, that it would find the whimsy that the original was able to create, and as I said, inspire so many new brown kids like me, no matter the descent, with these heroes. And overall, I'd have to say I enjoyed Aladdin, and it had some magical moments, though it was still difficult for me to see the point of it all beyond getting some live action people of color as heroes. But let's go ahead and kick off with our positives. Mena Massoud was great as Aladdin. I really enjoyed his performance. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that name, so I apologize. But I thought he was very charming. I was like, oh my, Aladdin, as I watched the film, because he was very charming, very sweet. He's very handsome. That hair is great. And I just thought he really embodied the character of Aladdin very well. Will Smith as the genie was also really good. We're gonna get to that blue CGI in the negatives, unfortunately. But Will Smith embodying the character was really great. This is a new vision of the genie, but one that obviously still rings true to this film. He was very funny, very charismatic. This is the most lively Will Smith performance we've gotten in ages, and it really was a great reminder of the movie star that Will Smith once was, and still apparently has the potential to be, because I did think his genie was wonderful in this movie, and he livened up the screen each and every time he was on it. But personally, the MVP of the film is Naomi Scott. First of all, she is far and away the best singer in this movie. What a lovely voice, and honestly, that made me happy they gave Jasmine a solo song, because I thought her vocals were beautiful. She also gives a very spirited, very defiant, passionate performance as Jasmine. And honestly, though I didn't like the way they slided the animated version of Jasmine in the lead-up marketing, I did actually enjoy the direction they took Jasmine. It stayed true to her character and what she was all about as to the core of the animated Jasmine, but I like that they just pushed it one extra step and had her goal be to be the Sultan, knowing she was qualified, knowing her worth, and saying, hey, I deserve this role. And I thought that was actually a really nice goal for Jasmine to have, a realistic goal. It felt natural, and it worked for me, in large part due to Naomi Scott's really strong performance in the character. I also have to say the costuming was great, which was a big question mark for me actually coming in, which is a shock with a live action Disney film with over a $200 million budget. What? But the costumes are gorgeous, particularly Jasmine. Her costumes are amazing. Each and every outfit she comes out in is just beautiful. I also particularly love Prince Ali's outfit, especially without, the headpiece, but even with it. I know a lot of people were like, why is he wearing a shirt? But we get a little nice divot here. It's a fashionable tune-up to the Prince Ali from the animated film, but it looked great. I also enjoyed the Sultan in this film, which is an interesting thing to enjoy. I particularly like the fact that they didn't dumb him down. He wasn't just like this bumbling idiot. He felt like an actual sultan, an actual leader that was being manipulated through magic by Jafar. So it was nice to see a competent sultan here. The music is also really nice, in large part due to the music was always great in Aladdin, let's just be honest. But what I enjoyed was the original score. I like how they morphed and organically moved these songs into the score and the story, and that really worked for me. Plus, I think everybody had good chemistry here. I did like the maiden character. I was scared for her overall role and purpose in the film when I heard what it was, but it worked for me, actually. I thought she and Jasmine had good chemistry. I thought Aladdin and the genie with Will Smith worked really, really well. I actually really felt their friendship, and they played off of each other very well. And the most important chemistry of all, I thought that Jasmine and Aladdin had beautiful chemistry, and the romance really rang true and worked very well. So what didn't work so well when it came to Aladdin? Well, oftentimes I find myself trying to defend Guy Ritchie. I personally thought King Arthur was fun, and I really, really like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I thought that was a very underrated movie. However, I just don't think he was the right director. He wasn't the right decision for this film. It became evident for me personally in One Jump Ahead, which was my least favorite sequence in the film. By far the worst musical number. And that had to do with how stylized it was. It was so robotic and choppy. The movements of Aladdin looked like stop motion, actually, in how choppy it became, which is weird in a fluent live action film. So it was clearly a choice. It was just a very poor choice to me. But the big slow-mo, we saw it in the trailer of like Aladdin falling out of a window or Abu grabbing onto the lamp. We just have a lot of these weird slow-mo moments that didn't work for me either. I just think Guy Ritchie really infused his own brand in here. For me, it detracted from the overall story and the overall setting. Earlier, I also mentioned that CGI, it was very hit or miss, to be honest. The Blue Genie mostly still did not work. Thankfully, Will Smith was just so charming and charismatic. He was able to kind of come through that, and I enjoyed the changes to a more rappy kind of style for Will Smith, because the singing for him, was questionable. But thankfully, Will Smith just has such a big, wonderful personality here that he overcomes the CGI. But it still looked wonky. It's not all that different from what we saw in those trailers and we're making fun of so hard. But even with the animals, the CGI went in and out. Abu had a lot of personality, just like the animated version, but his CGI was questionable. I loved Raja. I always have loved Raja. But many times you could just tell that there wasn't actually a tiger there. You could feel the disconnect between the actors and the CGI animals that are their friends and their companions and confidants. And then we get some CGI heavy moments, in particular with the magic carpet scenes, and they really felt CGI. You could tell there was a green screen behind our actors, and it was a little bit off-putting. Also, the set pieces were less than impressive to me. When we're inside the palace, it's beautiful. And I loved Aladdin's like abode. I thought worked really well. And like the cave itself looked great. However, whenever we were particularly in Agrabah, it looked like a set. I never felt like I was in an actual city. It felt like I was on a set for a film. I never got immersed into the world like I did with, say, Beauty and the Beast, where I thought the set was just so elaborate and beautiful. This had the details, it had the colors, it was very lively, but I just never got lost. I kept feeling like I was stuck on an actual set, which is a bit of a disappointment. We get a lot of that through most of the musical set pieces. I already mentioned One Jump Ahead, being by far my least favorite in the movie, but also A Whole New World was underwhelming. It had the magic because of the connection between the characters, thankfully, but like we don't get this grand carpet ride. For one, it was dark, which I mean, I guess is realistic because it is at night, but it was darkened. The color palette, it just didn't have that magical oomph to it that the animated version has that makes it such a special set piece. And then we get to the biggest disappointment, and that is Jafar. Jafar is terrible in this movie, I have to say. First of all, the acting is so bland. He doesn't feel intimidating. And they suck all the character out of him. At least Jafar is like this sleazy, but kind of over-the-top villain in the animated film. He has a little bit of fun to him. This Jafar is just so boring, so bland. The power-hungry bit just doesn't work. He's not actually after Jasmine. It's only after power. We don't see him like scheming to get Jasmine. They move his motivations to an even more boring place, which I can see why, because it kind of becomes creepy with like Jafar and Jasmine in live action setting, but he's just so bland and so generic, and I was over it. Jafar was terrible. So overall, I enjoyed Aladdin. I do think it is lively enough. The songs are there, the singing is good, and the connections between our characters really go a long way in selling this film. I did have quite a bit of problems with it as well, and as I said in the opening, kind of failed to see its purpose because I don't think it really improves upon the original, and unfortunately, it also sucks a lot of the magic out of what makes the original so special. But there's enough to like here. I think if you're a fan of Aladdin, you will enjoy yourself. If you're looking for a good romance, I also think this has a very good romance. So this is a nostalgia-filled, fun, romantic film. So if that sounds like your jam, I would give this a full price ticket, honestly. It's pretty enough, it's fun enough, you'll have a good time in the theater. However, if that doesn't sound like your jam and you're kind of sick of these live action remakes from Disney, maybe give this a rental. It's fun, but I don't think it's going to change your mind and bring you on over to the dark side. So that is my review of Aladdin. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Aladdin, or have you already seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!